And indeed, should just be about ready to go. So as you can see, we are just kind of in the waiting process. Here we go. And Phoenix, certainly a very unique track as Mike Nickens leads them around. Again, he's got his spot in the championship 4 very much locked up, but a lot of guys around him are fighting for those final 3 spots as they come down that back straight. And lots of different angles you can take this final turn to approach the start-finish line. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of different running patterns here as we come through. And there you get a little taste of it. As you can see, they're just coming across the line. Everyone just kind of driving it right down. As again, we'll have everything pretty well ready here in just a moment's time. Again, I'm a little bit late getting home here. That's in the name of transparency. That's what's going on here. That's why I'm maybe a little bit off the ball here tonight so far, at least. But certainly we'll find out soon enough who's on the ball among these drivers, as Nickens has the field backed up. Everyone just jammed in super tight here. When's Nickens going to take off? There he goes. He goes down low, and we are underway in tonight's Fix Auto Show. Down 250. Immediately, Jacob Nelson goes around. And absolute carnage in the background. It didn't take long. But Jacob Nelson, he's gone around and around. Not even in the first turn, and we've already got some carnage here in Phoenix. Meanwhile, Jose Mercado coming out of that with the lead. Mike Nickens taking that lower line. He's second. John Peden third. And Mercado getting some decent runs here. Matter of fact, let's go up to him. Jonathan Peden trying to get up to that back rear quarter panel as they come down the back straight. But certainly that is the noteworthy event here in the very beginning anyway, with Jacob Nelson getting caught up off the line. Or was that a little bit of a glitch I was seeing? I'm not 100% sure. Certainly we saw some cars going sideways there a moment ago. And now Mercado trying to take that run, but Jonathan Peden's actually grabbed the lead on that high line on the back straight. But we'll see just how much of a cut Mercado can take on this lower line. And yeah, even a little bit of a glitch there still. But as a result, Jonathan Peden does take the lead. And not 100% sure what's going on there, whether it's just a game thing or a connection thing. Everything looks good on my end, so not 100% sure there. But again, Mercado running in second right now. But the bigger story at the moment is Jacob Nelson back at the back of the field, basically. After starting in third, he's found himself pretty much third from last here. But given that there's only 17 cars running, it's not like Nelson can't make the charge back. Just going to have to take a bit of brave and bold strategy here from the 9 to get himself back into contention here, to get himself into the championship 4. And now a guy who's had it fairly comfortable here in that process is the number 53 of Jonathan Peden, your current race leader. And just to give you a little bit of context here, stage lengths 37, 54, and 59 here tonight for your total of 150 green flag laps, 40 laps of fuel under green flag conditions. So that guarantees green flag pit stops in both stages 2 and 3. So there will definitely be some strategy in play as Peden continues to lead this one. But again, unfortunately, one of the bigger stories, and again, not really, well, absolutely not within the control of either Corbin McCauley or Darcy Ford the fact that Hurricane Fiona still has their power knocked out, as we see, a little bit more glitching going on there. Everybody going for a little wiggle on that back straight. And not in the LMFAO wiggle, 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 wiggle sense. Oh boy, it's going to be one of those nights. It's weird to not have Regan laughing on the other side. Not that he did anyway, mind you, but it's a little bit more fun to have someone to bounce these things off of. But for the drivers still in championship contention, tonight's race is very much no laughing matter as Jonathan Keaton continues to hold the lead. Mercado there in second, Nickens third. And I think that's Ty Higginbotham in fourth, Leo Jameson's fifth. And again, a slightly shorter opening stage here tonight at Phoenix. And lap times about in the 26 to 27 second range is what we can expect. Matter of fact, our pole winning time here from Mike Nickens, I should have that here relatively close, was 25.904. So yeah, high 25s, right at the head of it, but 26, 27, that's probably a little bit more of a conventional run here, as it's a little bit shorter track here at Phoenix, just a little bit over a mile and a third, I believe. As Peden takes that lower line. And again, that's an approach that's absolutely unique to Phoenix in that sense. Just so much to work with there. And just trying to cut off as much as possible, basically. And here they come again. Peden on the high line. He stays high. Oh, there's the dive. Right at the line, essentially. And you see he's building up that gap. Leo Jameson wanting to get a little bit closer here. I believe running in fifth. He's got Bob Drew the third behind him in sixth. And yes, I believe my math's correct. Obviously, it's been a little while since Leo Jameson's found himself in victory lane, and for the first time this year, he finds himself in danger of potentially being eliminated, although, again, the early incident involving Jacob Nelson could potentially throw a wrench into things and work in the 94's favor. But obviously still a very long way to go, and again, guaranteed 2 green flag pit stops. So that's going to change up the equation a little bit here too, as, did Peden and Drew come together? Definitely somebody spun there. And yeah, Jonathan Peden, he spins right out of the lead. Not 100% sure what befell the 53 here. But there you see Dan Cudmore making his way by on that lower line. Keith Miller doing the same. As the Gator's going to try and find his way back into this one. Of course, he had a 25-point gap on Leo Jameson at the start of tonight's race for that final spot. So Peden, he can breathe a little bit easier if something happens to go wrong. But again, Leo Jameson and Jacob Nelson, who the latter, of course, caught up in something right off the start-finish line. But again, that's played right into the hands of Leo Jameson here in the early going, as that's moved him up into 4th place. And the man he's immediately chasing on track is right here, the number 97 of Ty Higginbotham out of Kansas City, Missouri. Winner a few weeks ago in the round of 12. And currently running in 3rd place, as I believe it's Mercado in the lead, Nickens second, with Higginbotham 3rd, Jameson 4th, Bob Drew the 3rd rounding out the top 5. And as our lead trio continues around, we'll take our first peek at Kevin Daigle. He's gotten himself a good qualifying start here tonight, as Jacob Nelson tries to find a way by the 85. Both men taking that lower line out of the final turn into the start-finish top of the tri-oval, I guess you could call it. Obviously a very unique corner here at Phoenix. And Daigle trying to hold on to it. Looks like he's going to go high, and there's the dip. And yeah, Jacob Nelson trying to get through on the back there, but there you see Daigle and Bob Drew III battling for position, and don't look now, but Jacob Nelson, he is fighting his way back into this thing. Just a couple cars back of Leo Jameson, his immediate competition. As Daigle and Nelson again take that lower line. I thought Nelson was maybe going to try and pull a Moses there and part the waters, but nothing doing that time around. Nelson just getting increasingly closer here, though. I imagine getting increasingly frustrated as well. Just trying somehow, any way, to get by them, and I think he's going to get both in this shot. As again, I think that's, yeah, just a weird glitch off the start-finish line. And there it is. Jacob Nelson gets two birds with one stone there. As Nelson, Kevin Daigle fighting back here, though. On a live tally, that would put Nelson 1 point out. 1 point out of the championship four, that is, with Leo Jameson ascending. And it looks like Nelson's got the move done here now. As we'll bring it back to the head of the field, where theoretically, well, that's Jacob Nelson we're looking at here now. Again, gotten ahead of Daigle and Drew. But now we're back to the head of the field, where we find Jose Mercado and Mike Nickens running first and second. Of course, Nickens with his shot at Homestead, Miami already well in hand. Mercado very much the opposite right now, but doing his best to try and get himself very much back into that contention. As he leads this one, again, Mike Nickens there in second, Ty Higginbotham third, Leo Jameson fourth, and if my math's correct, Jacob Nelson now rounding out the top five. So great recovery drive out of the Clarksville, Tennessee native in this opening stage. As we'll just flip it around to try and find Jonathan Peden somewhere in the equation. Basically, last time we saw him, he was running high all the way around the track, and it looks like he's still doing the same thing. Of course, we saw him get caught up in a bit of an incident there earlier. And we'll see what the 53's got in the form of a recovery here as he goes to begin another lap. And now we'll check on Leo Jameson, trying to get to that lead trio. He's currently fourth. And again, if things continue down this particular route, we are, even though we've only got 6 drivers now fighting for 4 spots, those 6 are going to be going at it absolutely hard here over the course of the next hour plus. And there you see again Jacob Nelson in the background trying to make up that gap to Jameson as well. As we bring it back up to our lead trio, Ty Higginbotham running in third. And Higgy again, a 3-time winner this season. Last one was a couple of weeks ago at Texas. And you know he would love dearly to grab one here. He finished second at Bristol as well. He and Corbin McCauley battling there at the very end. And of course, he was very much in the mix at Vegas last week too, as Mike Nickens, the man immediately ahead of him on track, was ultimately able to pull that one out. And there you see, you know, a little bit of separation from that lead trio to Jameson. Not really expanding, not really compressing either. Everyone kind of running the same speed here over the course of this opening stage, or at least something resembling it. As we'll bring it back to our race leader here, Jose Mercado. And, a little bit of glitchy around that start-finish line. Obviously, you see Jameson getting a little bit wild there. And again, we'll do our best to give you real-time standings here as the stages come to a close, because obviously tonight's a rather important evening for it, as we will decide our championship 4. And obviously a lot of these guys, they're close with their buddy Chase Beatty, and of course the final race is, Beatty, excuse me, final race of the season. This year's Earl Ross Cup championship race is of course the Chase Beatty 200, and that'll go next Tuesday night at Homestead, Miami. As again, you get that little, well, not even a little bit of a wobble there. Again, I would suggest that's more of a NASCAR heat glitch more than anything. As Mercado, a little bit of a brush with the wall there. I thought Nickens might be able to get closer, but he and Higginbotham kind of keep their distance here over the final couple corners, or final corner, I should say. But it looks like they've made it through relatively unscathed here as they're starting to come up on lap traffic. And I'm not sure if that's Trent Nielsen ahead or who that happens to be. But again, I can tell you Jacob Nelson here still running 5th. And so as it stands right now, he and Leo Jameson would be level on points at the end of this stage if things were to finish as they are right now. I know Jonathan Peden very much in the camp of not wanting things to finish as they are right now, as he's fallen down the field here a little bit. But again, maybe a bit easier to recover as well, given only 17 drivers competing here tonight. As we'll bring it back to our leaders, and I think we've actually gotten it at the end of this opening stage. So it looks like Jose Mercado has taken the first stage here in Phoenix. And indeed he has. Everybody kind of slowing down. So that's stage 1 in the books already, and it just kind of flew by, as it often does. And so that's going to be a big 10 points onto the 41's account here, as he tries to close that gap that he had between himself and the drivers on the bubble there, Jacob Nelson and Leo Jameson. And again, stage 1, kind of straightforward, it has to be said. But now things get a little bit more interesting, as we've got ourselves the beginning of stage 2 right offhand. And here we go. And so it's a follow off of Mike Nickens right away. It looks like a little bit of a cleaner start this time around, thankfully. Jacob Nelson hanging around. And Mercado leads them off the line. Mike Nickens in 2nd, Jameson up to 3rd, Higginbotham in 4th, Jacob Nelson in 5th. And I'll just have to see if I can go beyond a top 5 here. As again, we're doing our best to try and get information, but obviously given some of the challenges that we've had over the course of this particular last few days, as you know, I'd usually get my results from Dan Cudmore on PEI, but of course he is running tonight, as a matter of fact. Let me see. I actually do have a top 10 for you. So I kind of forgot that he was racing tonight, as, again, Mercado took the stage. Nickens in 2nd. Ty Higginbotham 3rd. Leo Jameson 4th. Jacob Nelson 5th. Bob Drew the 3rd, 6th. Kevin Daigle 7th. Hunter Young 8th. Jonathan War in 9th. Haven't said his name tonight. And Jason Butler grabs himself the stage point for 10th place. And so, as I say, I'm going to go ahead and do the math as we progress here early on in stage 2. 54 laps, as a reminder, in this middle frame. And it looks like, I thought I was going to be saying Nickens took the lead, but Mercado's actually opened up a bit of a gap here. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered if you are the number 41 as it stands right now. As again, I'm working quickly-ish to try and get this sorted out. And yeah, I should have an answer for you relatively shortly in terms of where everybody is. Again, I know from Jameson being 4th, Nelson being 5th, those two are in a dead heat now. Mercado inching closer, of course, with those 10 points for the stage win. But still very much needing to, probably a must-win situation, as out of the 6 drivers who are effectively remaining, he's the one at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. But again, Mercado needing to, or he's doing what he has to do so far. Again, grabbing the stage win the first time around. As again, I'm just working on getting this updated as soon as possible. That way we've got a reference for a championship 4 at least. As again, not really a whole lot going on up front in terms of, positional changes. Jacob Nelson, however, has made a move up to 3rd as he tries to fight his way back. Again, he's on level footing with Leo Jameson headed into tonight. And again, it's 5 drivers battling for 3 spots, effectively, is how it boils down. With, of course, Darcy Ford and Corbin McCauley, 2 members of the Elite 8, so to speak, being unable to compete on account of presumed power issues in relation to Hurricane Fiona, and especially less than ideal for Darcy Ford, as that's not the way anybody wanted to see his Earl Ross Cup defense come to an end. But it is official now. We will have a new champion for Season 3. Darcy Ford did put up a strong defense. Ultimately, again, things out of his control. That ultimately is what did him in this year. As we'll go ahead and check in now on Jonathan Peden, who's still a little bit further down the field. Of course, he did, as mentioned earlier, have the benefit of having a 25-point cushion on 5th place coming into tonight's race. So even though he did have that spin in stage 1, he's in a position where he can effectively recover from it and not have to press too hard. But certainly not the way he would have wanted that to go. Leo Jameson, meanwhile, he's got to keep his eyes a little bit further up the road here, as he, again, is at a dead heat with Jacob Nelson right now on points. And again, we're in the process of confirming all of that. Again, just doing a bit of a reset here just to make sure I've got absolutely everything right. And again, Mercado, 10 points for that stage win. Second was, Mike Nickens, but again, he's already through. Higginbotham, 3rd, so that gets him 8 points, and that gets him within 1 point of 2nd overall, as a matter of fact, in the standings, as John Peden didn't grab any points that time around. And Jameson grabs 7, Nelson 6. Again, they are level at 4,068 points here. And actually, that is going to be all I need, really, to tell you what's going on. So, just going to do a bit of a data sort here just to make sure I've got everything right. And okay, we do have updated standings here. So as mentioned, Mike Nickens, of course, already through with the championship or race win last week at Las Vegas. John Peden second, Ty Higginbotham third, just 1 point separating those two. Jacob Nelson and Leo Jameson, meanwhile, dead heat for that final spot in the championship four. Jose Mercado, another 14 points back despite the stage win. And so if you're the 41, you almost feel like you still have to win this one just to kind of upset the balance. And if he does, Jacob Nelson and Leo Jameson could find themselves out of the picture here. And you have to wonder, maybe, even though this is very much an every man for himself concept here, Jose Mercado and Mike Nickens, both GTR Motorsports drivers. You have to wonder if maybe a little bit of teamwork will come into play here, especially if we find ourselves in a situation where, say, Leo Jameson is behind Nickens, because ultimately he doesn't have anything to race for right now outside of, I suppose, the Fix Auto Cup as well. So that is a fair point to make. And in that particular sphere, Nickens closed the gap by a point. Higginbotham leads that mini competition by 3 points. But again, the bigger story right now is the man you're seeing on screen right now, the number 41 of Jose Mercado out of Kissimmee, Florida, driving that GTR Motorsports Ford and driving it expertly on a night where he absolutely has to. And of course, he does have a bit of a history of clutch victories as well. If you recall last year's season or round of 12 eliminator at Talladega, Mercado was on the outside looking in, and the 41, he found himself in victory lane. So he knows how to do it when he absolutely needs to. And so we'll see if Mercado can break the little championship 4 curse he's had over the last couple of years, as he's been eliminated in the round of 8 each of the first 2 seasons here in our NASCAR series. But right now, the 41 is looking pretty good, it has to be said. You see a fairly significant gap between Mercado and the rest of the field. As we'll look in on Jacob Nelson, now he finds himself behind Ty Higginbotham, so that puts Nelson into 4th, with Jameson there in 5th. So on track, Jacob Nelson is 1 point ahead of Leo Jameson for that final spot. But again, they could both be kind of pushed out of the picture here if Jose Mercado happens to win tonight. As Nelson goes and hits the wall, again, not sure if that was a bit of a glitch there on the part of the 9. As Higginbotham's making a run on Nickens here for 2nd. And I wonder if that's potentially to try and set the table for Leo Jameson if he can hold on. I think you're going to see a little bit more team play coming in here. As again, Nickens is already through. Higginbotham's in a pretty comfortable spot, it has to be said. And Jacob Nelson maybe trying to get a little help from Nickens. And Jameson, I'm sure, would love a bit of a boost from Ty Higginbotham here as well. As Jameson, very much a man in danger right now. Really, I would say if you're Jameson, Nelson, or Mercado, only way to be safe is to win. That's the name of the game here tonight. Just win, baby. I know the Davises are in Vegas now, and we were just in Vegas last week. But just win, baby, never felt more appropriate here within our series. As Nelson tries to make his way up the high line, and he's gotten past Nickens. That is 3rd place, for Jacob Nelson. And now if Nickens can slot in and maybe form a little bit of a block here for, or on Leo Jameson, that might give Jacob Nelson a little bit of breathing room here. And that'll free him up to pursue Ty Higginbotham for second. And again, all things considered, pretty solid recovery drive here from Jacob Nelson, given that incident right off the start-finish line to begin tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 250. As we see John Peden coming in for his pit stop. And let's just see if it's a pit stop or if it's going to be a disconnection here for the 53. That could potentially throw a wrinkle into things as we go back to this 2 through 5 pack. They're all chasing Jose Mercado up the track. Jacob Nelson still in third. And no, it was just a pit stop for Jonathan Peden. He's still very much in tonight's race. Wasn't sure just because of the camera cut we saw a little bit earlier. I thought that might have meant a disconnection for the 53, but he's back out there. As we'll check now on Leo Jameson. Jesus, is that Jose Mercado in pit lane? Indeed it is. So, Mercado into pit lane here, so it looks like we're in that green flag window here. And Mike Nickens in as well. Jacob Nelson staying out, staying ahead of Leo Jameson. And below the yellow line, that's Higginbotham and Nelson coming in. Leo Jameson staying out. And Jonathan Peden obviously just rejoined the race. We'll check in on Leo Jameson to see when he's going to come in. Looks like he's kind of on his own out there right now. And there's the dip below the yellow line. Here's Jameson into pit lane. So we'll see if there's a tire advantage here for the 94 at the end of this second stint. And we'll see who's actually worked out where. As it looks like Mercado and Peden are fairly close on track. I'm not sure if this is for position or whether Peden finds himself a lap down. Certainly hasn't been a factor here to this point in the evening. Mercado, by contrast, has been the story of the evening so far. Getting out to that early lead and holding on to take stage one. Again, not really closing the gap all that much, though, in terms of what he needs to do to actually get himself into the championship four. As he entered tonight 17 points back, it's down to 14 now. But really, with that kind of gap, it is definitely a must-win here for the 41. As we'll move it along to Jacob Nelson now. He's tucked in behind Mike Nickens, kind of similarly to how it was before the round of green flag pit stops. Leo Jameson suddenly right behind the 9 once again. And again, those two were very much the bubble boys coming in, 1 point separating them. And again, both could potentially have their parties ruined here by the one man who's behind them that's still eligible to get into the championship four. And of course, as mentioned, that is our race leader, Jose Mercado. And so if you're Nelson or Jameson, as we try to get a bit of a catch-up session here, trying to see if I can actually hear. Oh my gosh, my Discord was muted. That is a bit of a problem. So I was trying to figure out why I couldn't hear anything. Now we should be good. So hopefully I'll have a few more updates over the course of the evening.
20 to go, 20 to go.
And there's your first one. 20 laps remaining in stage number 2. And again, Nelson trying to find his way around Mike Nickens here. Maybe trying to get a little bit of help there. Again, Nickens, not really a whole lot to race for. He's got his spot in the Chase Beatty 200 wrapped up. And so, again, we'll just have to see how things unfold here over the next 18 to 19 laps of this stage, plus another 59 in the final stage, in which our Championship 4 will be decided. Meanwhile, there is Jonathan Peden slipping by Ty Higginbotham here. Again, not 100% sure if this is for position or whether Peden is still lap traffic right now. Again, Peden coming in a lap or two earlier than everybody else, but definitely further down the field than we're accustomed to seeing him. As everybody does the twist there out of the final turn and takes another round of it for good measure. And again, hopefully we'll have a running order here in relatively short order. Always hard to figure these things out of a green flag pit stop round, especially without the benefit of a live leaderboard. Hopefully NASCAR Heat and our involvement with it will be going the way of the dinosaur here in relatively short order. Matter of fact, after next week, I wouldn't mind that. However, if Jonathan Peden's found his way back into contention here, and logic would suggest he certainly has, that could, make things a little bit more interesting in terms of Jose Mercado maybe getting another.
To go, 15 to go, 41 is first, 97 second, 18 third,
getting an
9 fourth, 53 fifth.
Oh.
Sorry, 53 fourth, 9 fifth.
Okay, so confirmation, Jonathan Peden is in fact on the lead lap here, as you see him in fourth place right now. He's just gotten ahead of Jacob Nelson. So our top 5 remains as we suspected from earlier. Jose Mercado remains your leader. John Peden there just dropping down into 5th, running a little bit high out of the start-finish mini straight, I guess you could call it. Nelson back up into 4th, as they're both coming up on lap traffic here. So Mercado continues to lead. Higginbotham 2nd, Nickens in 3rd. And here you see the battle for 4th and 5th, Jacob Nelson and Jonathan Peden. And just looking at things here, 18 points separating John Peden from the cut line, so to speak. Peden 18 points clear as it stands right now. Another 6 points here in this stage, if he was to finish 5th, would certainly help his cause. I don't know if we'd be able to get to the point of mathematically saying he's clinched a spot, though. As we'll go back here to our race leader, Jose Mercado. And again, he's been putting on an absolute clinic here tonight for the most part, and was on course to do so at Phoenix in Season 2 as well. But right there, right at that entrance to pit lane, there is a little bit of a glitch if you cut it a bit too tight. And that ultimately is what befell the 41 last year. Ultimately, I believe, cost him the win, which would have been very early on in the season.
10 to go.
10 remaining in stage 2.
Second lead on 97. 18 right behind 97.
And there you get the updates from Ty Higginbotham, as we'll dig into the 2-3-4 battle here. As it looks like Nelson's actually left Jonathan Peden behind here a little bit. Matter of fact, not sure what's happened to the 53. And let's just see. As we look at Jonathan Peden, he's tucked in behind Leo Jameson now. And Keith Miller just ahead as lap traffic too. And it sounds like our leaders are coming up to Jason Butler to potentially lap him. As we'll just try and get a sense. I think, matter of fact, they may have actually just gone by. I think the 10, it would be an unusual choice here for the 10 to be in yellow because we're so used to the Miami Vice scheme from Jason Butler. Can't quite get a look at the 10 or the number on the side. But it sounds like everyone's navigated everything with relative ease here. Just as the man at the head of the field, he's been doing that over the course of the evening here. Jose Mercado, again, just driving away from everybody. He's got a couple seconds on that chase pack here now. And it looks like he's finding some solid lines here. As I believe we'll be coming up on 5 to go this time around. And again, Mercado doing absolutely everything he has to do here effectively. Must win, as I say.
5 to go.
5 to go. There's the official confirmation. As again, Mercado continues to lead this one. And it'll be 4 to go at the line for the Kissimmee, Florida native. Again, this is just stage 2. Still 59 laps in the third and final stage to go. And obviously, once those are complete, that will set us up for a run to find out who our championship 4 will be. As, yeah, you see the gap between Mercado and his nearest challengers. Mike Nickens there in third, Higginbotham second. And if we got a look from behind, that's kind of a side view there. You kind of see it, Mercado already into turn 1 as this chase pack was just crossing the start-finish line. And let's just see, indeed, Mercado is coming up on a bit of a glut of lap traffic here. But if he can hold off for about a minute, he should be fine to take stage 2, as he's down to 2 laps remaining. And Mercado staying high. Yeah, about half a dozen cars right there. So Mercado might just be content to hold up as best he can while obviously maintaining his positioning as much as anything else. And that 41, he's looking awfully good here tonight. Might actually be one of the better runs we've seen out of him in 3 seasons to this point. And that's saying something. For a man with, I believe, 5 victories over the course of 3 seasons, he's definitely had his moments. And Jose Mercado, he's looking to make another one tonight. He's 2/3 of the way there right about now as he takes stage 2 of tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 250. As we got a bit of a wreck there at the end. Again, I'm not sure if that's a glitch or what happened. Ty Higginbotham there in second.
1 first, 97 second, 18 third, 9 fourth, 94 fifth, 53 sixth, 6 seventh, JMW is 8th, 14 ninth,
right.
2 10th.
So yeah, you're getting a little bit of an update there standings wise. I should have an official image here momentarily. A little bit hard to actively listen whenever you're broadcasting, so I should get a photo here shortly if I don't have it already. And again, we'll just have to just kind of play a little bit of wait and see here. And as I say it, here is the photo just to kind of finalize our top 10 as to who's going to get points. And again, Mercado, he's swept the 2 stages to this point, so that's another 10 points in his pocket. Ty Higginbotham in second for 9 points. Mike Nickens grabs 8. So Higginbotham restores his 4-point lead in the Fix Auto Cup standings with one stage to go now. And it looks like things have kind of shaken up a little bit, perhaps, in terms of strategies and stops as we go into our final stage of tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 250. And back the focus on pole sitter Mike Nickens, who's running in fourth. Mercado, again, good off the line. Jacob Nelson there in second. Both guys who effectively have to win this one. Ty Higginbotham is third. And there you see Nickens still very much in contention. Leo Jameson as well. Jonathan Peden very much in the mix too. So that's our 6 playoff drivers. They make up the top 6 as it stands right now. And it looks like, what do you know, Jose Mercado's gotten his way back out at the head of the field again. And he's just got something working in that 41 right now as everybody takes that little glitch off the start-finish line. Always a little bit terrifying for a visual. And again, 59 laps here in this third and final stage, so we are guaranteed 1 green flag pit stop here. And whether or not that does anything to actually change the order, we'll just have to wait and see. Because obviously there are still a lot of miles left to be driven. As again, we'll just continue on with getting our standings here as up to the minute as possible as it relates to our round of 8. And just trying my very best here, as it looks like, yeah, it's definitely a fact that our top 6, or our 6 remaining playoff drivers are in fact the 6 drivers who, well, they finished in the top 6 in stage 2 is what I'm getting at. And so, now that I've got some updated math, let's see who's got to do what. So, we are back to square one, effectively, from where we were to begin the evening. Jacob Nelson 1 point up on Leo Jameson for 4th spot. But again, Jose Mercado, he's been the man to beat so far. If he wins, both of those guys are out, no matter what Nelson or Jameson happen to do. Mercado presently is 11 points out, but again, if he wins, that kind of cures everything. Oh, as he goes high, just preparing to take that lower line, and he manages to navigate that. And with the stage results, it should be noted that Ty Higginbotham has moved up into second place here overall in the standings. And he's got himself a 20-point gap over Leo Jameson right now. And so, I believe, if my math is correct, I think Ty Higginbotham may have actually mathematically grabbed a place here in the Championship 4 with a couple of strong stage results here. Again, I'd have to confirm that as we go along. Just going to do the math standings wise here. Figure out whether Higginbotham has in fact clinched his place. And let's just see again if we can do some math, barring a victory, of course. But again, only the 17 drivers in the field tonight, so that tightens up the kind of point margins that drivers can pick up, as it's pretty much win and you're in at this point. And Jacob Nelson's doing his absolute best to try and get to that position, as he's second right now. Mike Nickens might have something to say about that. Ty Higginbotham as well. And Jonathan Peden, you know, would love to potentially go into Homestead, Miami on a high. And so, again, if we were to do this analysis, if we're doing it based on Jameson winning and Higginbotham finishing 17th, which looks highly unlikely, that would put it at a dead heat between those two. And based on finishes, I believe Higginbotham would get the tiebreaker. So I think we can go ahead and declare that the 97 of Ty Higginbotham is officially in the championship 4. So now it's 4 drivers fighting for 2 spots effectively. I thought Higginbotham was going to hit the wall, like that kind of pit lane retainer wall. But nothing doing there as these 5 are basically running together. They're all still trying to catch Jose Mercado, though. Nickens inside. Jameson with some contact on Higginbotham. Good Lord, are they going 5 wide here? Sure looked like it there at a point. There's only so much room on the racetrack here, folks. As there you see our chase pack, I guess you could say, 2 through 6. Not much separating them at all. 45 to go, I believe, is what I just heard. As Jameson squeezes by Nelson. And we're back to our race leader, Jose Mercado, 2.5 seconds up.
53 Just long battle.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard it in the background there from race control. We were certainly watching it on the screen. A ton of battling happening here, 2nd through 6th. But nobody has an answer for this man right now. Again, the number 41 of Jose Mercado. He has been in cruise control here pretty well all night, as things have worked out just about perfectly, it has to be said here for the 41. And just trying to hold it here. Oh, again, not sure if that's just glitchy or handling there through the turn. But Mercado hangs on to that one just fine. You always worry around that start-finish line here at Phoenix. Obviously, that abrupt dip and what appears to be a bit of a glitch as you try to do so. But again, it looks like the 41 doing a very good job of navigating all that. And we'll have to see if, there's potential for pit stops for anyone in that 2 through 6 group to try and reel Jose Mercado in. But it certainly didn't work out that way in stage 2, where he basically went wire to wire. And again, it's hard to imagine it going any other way here right now. Just, again, the way that 41 has absolutely been the class of the field here tonight. And again, you have to wonder, you can't help but wonder, as a matter of fact, what could have been if obviously both Corbin McCauley and Darcy Ford had been able to go tonight, but obviously due to circumstances beyond their control, that was very much not a possibility. And we certainly wish for their safety first and foremost above all else. As again, Jose Mercado trying to find his way into the championship 4. Again, not the first time he would have fought from the brink of elimination to get the job done. And certainly, he might be drawing on that a little bit, as, don't look now, I think Jacob Nelson might be starting to catch him here a little bit. Let's just see if we can get a different camera angle here to see what kind of a gap Mercado's got. Still sizable gap there between first and second on the back straight. And there's Mercado again coming through the turn. Through the start-finish line. And now we're back to our regularly scheduled camera angle. And it's actually Ty Higginbotham up there in second. This is Nelson in fourth. Or it might actually be fifth. No, that is fourth. With Leo Jameson right there in third. John Peden rounds out the top 5. Looks like Mike Nickens is kind of falling off the back here a little bit. But again, absolutely nothing to worry about there if you're the 18. You already know you've got your spot in the championship 4. You're just kind of letting the guys ahead battle it out. As again, I think we're going to see some good battling. Ultimately, it might be all for naught as it relates to Jacob Nelson and Leo Jamieson. Because, again, if Jose Mercado happens to win tonight, both of those guys get eliminated regardless of where they finish. As Ty Higginbotham is all but mathematically locked his place in, Jonathan Peden pretty safe here as well, barring some kind of absolute catastrophe here. And again, anytime you see that kind of, sideways action, you always wonder if maybe there will, in fact, be catastrophe. But looks like everyone's held on once again. As again, everyone's trying to track down Jose Mercado here, as he's coming up onto the back of Keith Miller, but he's going to take that lower line to try and get by the 44, and he does it with ease. And Higginbotham's going to take him on turn 2, that being Miller. As it looks like Miller's gotten out of the way of the majority of the field, or a majority of that top 5 at least. And indeed, it looks like that all 5 of them have cleared that 44. As Mercado continues to lead, Ty Higginbotham trying to track down his former Stars and Stripes Racing teammate from Season 2. Of course, on different outfits for this year. Mercado driving for GTR. Ty Higginbotham driving for the guys who've been the class of the field for the majority of the season, Tornado Alley Racing. And Higginbotham looking to take the series lead with what would be, I believe, win number 4 of the season. I'd have to look back. It might even be win 5. But again, it's Jose Mercado who's continuing to lead, but Higginbotham is catching him. So it's not over yet by any stretch of the imagination. And again, Mercado, he's going to have to fight here if everyone catches up to him, as he's headed into pit lane. So Mercado going for an overcut here, it looks like. Jacob Nelson in as well. And so this could get interesting strategy-wise here, as now Ty Higginbotham inherits the lead of tonight's Fix Auto 250. Let's actually get to the 97. And that's going to last for all of a lap as the 3 Tornado Alley drivers come in. And one of Mike Nickens, he also is in pit lane. So this is the final green flag pit window. Looks like it's basically just going to be a run to the end here after this. And so Mercado's still there in pit lane. And it looks like Nelson, he did a good job of trying to catch up here. And Nelson, he may actually benefit from stopping a little bit earlier, as these 2 GTR drivers, they may well be battling here right to the end. And Mercado trying to hold on to it through that final turn once again. You see already establishing a bit of a gap between himself and Jacob Nelson as the Tornado Alley guys come out of pit lane. And I thought, definitely got tight between Nelson and the Tornado Alley trio as they were exiting. But Nelson appears to have held the position. It's definitely a white front in second. Whether it's Nelson or Higginbotham, I'm not entirely sure. But we can certainly find out. As it looks like Nickens has a bit of front end damage.
Front, 9 is behind him. 97 is behind 9. 53 behind 97. 94 behind 50.
Okay, so your top 5, as you just heard it, is still Jose Mercado in the lead. There you see 2 through 5 on the screen, as it's Jacob Nelson in second, Ty Higginbotham third, Jonathan Pete in fourth, Leo Jameson in fifth. And for Nelson, this is kind of an ideal situation here. Granted, he could very well get swallowed up by the 3 Tornado Alley guys here in relatively short order, but the fact that he has them in his rear view mirror instead of trying to chase them down,
41 is first.
That's got to give Nelson a bit of hope here.
97 is third. 94 is fifth.
And
41 is the wall.
oh, Mercado hit the wall here, I'm being told. So this gap might close a little bit, and it has. So that's the first real mistake we've seen out of Jose Mercado, or seen or heard about, I should say. And we'll see if that allows this chase pack back into this for this final run to the checkered flag. Jose Mercado, he's looked pretty much impenetrable here for the course of the evening. Now it's just a matter of if that 41 is going to hold on. And again, it is absolutely a must-win situation here for Jose Mercado. And really, it's the same for Jacob Nelson, knowing that Mercado's ahead of him on the track. If Mercado was anywhere but first right now, Nelson would probably feel a little bit better about things. But it's kind of worst case scenario right now for the 9 as he sees the Mercado, the 41 of Jose Mercado, lapping Trent Nielsen ahead on the track. And now as they come through turn 2 onto that back straight, Mercado's got the move done. And now the rest of that chase pack is going to have to similarly clear the 55 in relatively short order. As again, it's Nelson second, Ty Higginbotham third, John Peden fourth, although that may have just changed. Nelson trying to hold on, but the Tornado Alley guys have got the low line. And Higginbotham trying to make the move stick. It looks like he will into 3. So that would put Ty Higginbotham up into second. John Peden trying to follow him through into third. And that drops Jacob Nelson to fourth with 20 laps remaining. Second and a half, the gap we're being told between Jose Mercado and this chase pack. And we'll have to see just how they are able to melt off the time if they can. And we'll have to start by navigating Trent Nielsen here in relatively short order. And it looks like the Tornado Alley guys have done that. And Nielsen out of the way for Jacob Nelson to get by as well. So 2, 3, and 4 free to race after Jose Mercado once again. As Jameson's trying to clear Nelson as well, or Nielsen, excuse me. 3 seasons, and I'm surprised that hasn't bit me a little bit more. Nelson, Nielsen, Nielsen, Nelson. As again, we see him just still in fourth, that being Jacob Nelson. But now he's got to make something happen over the next 17 laps if he wants a spot in the championship 4. Or else this might be the end of the line. He was a round of 8 casualty in season 1. I believe he may have also been a round of 8 casualty in season 2. But certainly a guy who's had his opportunities, just hasn't been able to cash in. And again, is looking for an opportunity to do so. Oh man, you always wonder about those connection glitches. Ugh, they're cringeworthy, to be quite honest with you. But it's just a matter of doing whatever it takes to keep it on the track right now, as we'll flip it back to our race leader, Jose Mercado. And I believe we'll be hearing 15 to go here either this time around or next. And again, Mercado doing a great job of just kind of keeping it clean here outside of that one brush with the wall about 10 laps ago. You know, the 41 has been pretty much untouchable here over the course of this evening, as he takes a little kiss off of that wall into turn one, but nothing too effective there. A little bit of a sharp turn there out of two from Mercado. I thought he might have gotten caught up in something there again, but is able to hold on. And it looks like Mercado is coming up on another potential lap traffic or another back marker to get by here. But again, you see that gap staying relatively the same here between the 41 and that chasing trio. And as they take that dip down, again, Mercado holding on. But again, he is coming up to lap traffic. Nielsen and Miller here ahead. That might close the gap here a little bit, as Miller's trying to go high. And thought Mercado was going to get by. He might on this little dive here, and he may get by Miller here. He should. And he's got the line to do it. Trent Nielsen still ahead, though. And so that could bring that chase trio back into things a little bit, especially if they're able to get a bit of a draft off of Keith Miller. And Mercado aggressively up to that high line, working his way down again, and then back up. And let's just see, it sounds like, did we have a disconnection there potentially? Just a Discord disconnection by the sounds of it. It looks like Ty Higginbotham very much still on the track. As again, Mercado still hasn't gotten by Trent Nielsen just yet. Oh, Mercado hanging on for dear life. And again, I'm not sure if that's me or a connection thing there, but absolutely sliding was the 41. And not 100% sure what's happening here. But again, I can tell you the 41's still very much in the lead of this race. And oh, geez, that was a super cut of the start finish. Again, I'm not sure if that was just a game glitch or what was going on there. It's certainly not, you know, how you would want things to be going. As Mercado tries to snake by Nielsen here. Looks like he's going to do so. 10 to go, we're being told. Mercado's still leading. I think that's Higginbotham in second, as Mercado's found his way past Trent Nielsen. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a calmer finish than we just saw over the last couple laps. Things were running good there for a little bit. And now it's 9 remaining, as again, Mercado continues to lead this one. Nelson trying to make a run here on Higginbotham for second, because he knows he definitely has to make the move. He's got to do whatever it takes, says Jacob Nelson, to try and get up to Jose Mercado over the next 8 laps. Now it's 5 to go. I thought it was 10. Okay, so the math isn't looking any better for Jacob Nelson. As a matter of fact, it's looking even worse. So if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive, the moves have to start now, I would say, if you're the 9. Jonathan Peden is surely aware of this, as he goes down for the block. 4 laps remaining. And again, it's Mercado still in the lead, just as he's been for the majority of the evening, but he's got company now at the very end. As Higginbotham's there, Pedon's there. Nelson kind of falling off the back a little bit. And it's going to be 3 to go right now. And Mercado still holding on. Higginbotham maybe with a look on the high line, but just kind of ran out of room that time around. And Mercado still holding on. Man, oh man, if Jose Mercado loses this at the very end, this could be absolutely devastating for him, but there's still a couple laps to go. 2 to go, as a matter of fact, right about now. This is still a shootout, folks. We've still got a shot. As Mercado and Pedon door to door. And Mercado just trying absolutely everything to hold on. We're getting ourselves one hell of a finish here, folks. So do not go anywhere, as the white flag's coming out right about now, or right about now specifically for the final lap of tonight's Fix Auto 250, and Mercado trying desperately to hold on. Pedon on that outside line. Mercado will get the inside run here, though. It looks like he's just going to hold on. Maybe some contact there that kind of pushed Pedon out. Mercado still trying to hold on. Higginbotham trying to get through. Nelson trying to get through. This is coming down right to the end, but Jose Mercado is going to hang on. What seemed almost unfathomable, it turned into a bloody fantastic finish. Jose Mercado, he holds on at the very end. Had anyone else won, Jose Mercado would be out. But the 41 takes the checkered flag for the second time this year. He finds himself in the championship 4. Ty Higginbotham finds himself in the championship 4. And Jonathan Pedon rounds out the championship 4. And we'll get you the official point tallies here as soon as